There's one question a lot of serious buyers think about before moving to the Iowa Great Lakes, and almost nobody actually asks it out loud. So I'm going to answer it for you right now, before you sign anything. Here's how it usually goes. Someone drives up from Des Moines or flies in from Minneapolis. They see West Okoboji for the first time. They're standing on a dock and the water's clear, the weather's perfect, and somewhere in the back of their mind, a question is forming that they don't quite say out loud. What if something happens to me here? What if I need a specialist? What if it's serious? What if I'm 2 hours away from everything I know? What if my current health issues cause me problems while we're down here? I've been working in this market long enough to know that this question, it's there. Some people simply, they just forget due to excitement of purchasing lake houses. Some people are too prideful. Some people just don't always know how to ask without feeling like they're being difficult. So let me be the one to bring it up. I'll be straight with you. I actually drive about an hour each way for my own healthcare. This isn't due to poor options down here by any means. I have my own doctor back home where I was born and raised, and I trust him. So until he retires, I'll continue to use him. You might think that's crazy. You might think that's crazy for him to be so far away. But in reality, when I only go see him every 10 to 15 years, it's not that bad. All right, anyways, I've had clients get all their care done right here. I've had clients that drive to Sioux Falls. I've had clients that do a little bit of both. And what I found is that most people moving to this area are either seriously surprised by what's available locally, or they're surprised by what isn't. This video is the honest version of that answer, because healthcare access isn't a deal breaker for most people who move here, but it is something you should understand before you move, not after. So let's go through exactly what exists, where it is, and how to think about it for your situation. Let's start with what's right here in Iowa Great Lakes area. Lakes Regional Healthcare sits on Highway 71 in Spirit Lake, half a mile from my office. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And here's something most people don't know. Lakes Regional has been named one of the top 100 rural and community hospitals in the entire United States 8 years in a row as of 2026. The National Rural Health Association also ranked them in the top 20 rural hospitals in the country. And CMS, the federal body that rates every hospital in America, gave them a 5-star rating. Only about 10 to 13% of hospitals nationwide hold that rating. That is not a participation trophy. That is a hospital punching well above its weight for a community this size. What can you actually get done there? A lot more than most out-of-towners expect. They've got emergency services, cardiology, general surgery, oncology, orthopedics, OB, full birth center, hematology, home care, hospice, imaging, critical care. And here's the part that really changes the picture. The outpatient specialty clinic program, Lakes Regional brings specialists in from Sioux Falls and Regional Avera System on a rotating basis, so patients don't have to drive. Cardiologists from North Central Heart come to Spirit Lake multiple times a month. A neurologist from Sioux Falls comes in on, I believe it's the second Tuesday of each month, and also sees patients via telemedicine. Podiatry, pulmonologists, podiatry, foot and ankle, pediatric specialists. These are Sioux Falls-level specialists seeing patients in Spirit Lake. That is a meaningful piece of information for someone doing this research at midnight, wondering whether they're moving somewhere with nothing. And it doesn't stop there. Spencer Hospital is only about 15 to 20 miles south of Spirit Lake, 30 minutes from most of the lakes area. It runs a full-service hospital, a comprehensive cancer center, a multi-specialty surgical center, a behavioral health, 4 primary care clinics, and 2 dialysis centers. One of those dialysis centers is right here in Spirit Lake. Spencer also brings visiting specialists in from metro communities regularly for outreach clinics, so patients can access a wider range of care without leaving Northwest Iowa. So here's the picture emerging for someone doing serious due diligence. You're not moving to a place with a single clinic and 2-hour drive to a real hospital. You're moving to an area with nationally ranked, federally rated top 20 rural hospital, a rotating specialist program, and a full service medical campus 30 minutes down the road. That is not what most people assume when they hear rural Iowa. But there's a part of this picture I want to be completely honest about because it matters for specific groups of buyers. And that's coming up next. But first, real quick, if you're doing a serious research on relocating to the Iowa Great Lakes and you want a full breakdown of what life here actually looks like year round, I put together a free relocation guide that covers this kind of stuff. Healthcare, schools, cost of living, the lakes, towns, all of it. The link's in the description below. It's totally free. Do me a favor and drop a comment. Was healthcare access something you were thinking about before watching this? I'm honestly curious how many people have this question but just don't ask it. All right, here's where I'm going to be straight with you. If you have a complex, ongoing medical situation that requires frequent specialist care at a major academic medical center, you'll be driving sometimes. That's just the honest answer. Sioux Falls is the closest larger market. Roughly 90 miles to the west, about an hour and 20 minutes from Spirit Lake. Avera Health and Sanford Health both operate major systems there. If you need something that the local and regional infrastructure can't handle, that's where it goes. Des Moines, it's further, about 3-4 hours south. University of Iowa Hospital in Iowa City is further than that. Now, for most people moving to the Iowa Great Lakes, this isn't a deal breaker. It's a planning consideration. There's a difference. I had a client, he was moving from Spencer to Spirit Lake, which is about 15 miles. Not exactly a dramatic relocation, I get that. But he had ongoing health needs, regular blood work, monitoring, that kind of thing. And one of the things that mattered to him was knowing he could get that done locally without making it a half a day event. He gets his blood work done right here in Spirit Lake. That was part of why the move made sense for him. He also wanted an HOA property. No stairs, no lawn care, no snow removal. He found exactly that. And the healthcare piece worked out. That's a real story about a real person doing real due diligence and arriving at a real answer. The point isn't that healthcare here is perfect for every situation. The point is that it's far better than most people. And for most buyers in the 38 to 65 range looking at this market, it's more than enough for their everyday needs. Like I said, I only go to the doctor every 10 to 15 years, plenty here. The buyers who run into friction are the ones with highly specialized, high frequency needs who didn't ask a question before. And that's exactly why I'm making this video. But there's one more layer to it that almost nobody thinks about. And it might actually be the most reassuring part of the whole picture. Here's something that genuinely changed the healthcare calculus for rural areas in the last 5 years. Telehealth. Lakes Regional is already running virtual specialist consultations through the Avera EICU system, where board-certified intensivists in Sioux Falls are actively monitoring critical care patients in Spirit Lake in real time. That's not a future idea. That's operating right now. Neurology consults via telemedicine. Pulmonology, specific Avera specialists who aren't physically traveling to Spirit Lake, but are still seeing patients there virtually. The infrastructure for remote specialist access is built and run. And for everyday primary care, mental health, follow-up appointments, prescription, telehealth has made geography matter a lot less than it did a decade ago. So here's how I'd frame the whole picture for someone seriously considering this move. For your day-to-day healthcare, primary care, urgent needs, most specialist visits, you have a nationally ranked community hospital in Spirit Lake, a rotating specialist clinic program that brings the Sioux Falls system to your door, and a full-service hospital 30 minutes away in Spencer. For complex specialized care, Sioux Falls is 90 miles to the west. It's a little bit of a drive, plan for it. And for everything in between, telehealth has closed a lot of that gap in ways that didn't exist, even 5 years ago. Most people who move here find that healthcare works just fine for their lives. The ones who are happiest are the ones who went in knowing exactly what to expect and planned accordingly. That's life. You got to plan accordingly. That's the honest answer to the question most people are afraid to ask. Bottom line, the Iowa Great Lakes has significantly more healthcare infrastructure than most out-of-town buyers expect. And going in with a clear picture of what's local, what's 30 minutes away, what's 90 miles away, and what requires a longer drive is all you need to make a confident decision. Whether you're looking at lakefront, lake access, or just trying to figure out whether this area makes sense for your family full-time, call me, text me, book a strategy call. All my contact info and links are down in the description below, as well as a free relocation guide. I'm happy to talk through any of it. It's no stupid questions. Now that you know what healthcare looks like in the Iowa Great Lakes, the next thing most serious buyers want to understand is what two buyers with the same budget end up on completely different lakes for, and why that gap is bigger than anyone expects. That's exactly what we break down in this video right here.